The German occupation plays a crucial role in my book, Lost Paintings of Pieter van Dijk, shaping the main protagonist's life. It's a history that still echoes today. Here's what life in the Netherlands was really like during World War II. On May 10, 1940, German troops invaded. They came fast, by land and by air, in a military tactic known as Blitzkrieg, or Lightning War. The Dutch army fought hard, and for a few days there was real resistance. But Germany wanted to make an example, so they bombed Rotterdam. The explosion and fire destroyed almost the entire city center in just a few hours. Thousands of buildings were gone. The shock was so great that the Dutch government surrendered. They simply couldn't risk another city being wiped out. At the beginning, life under German occupation looked almost normal. Stores stayed open, streetcars still ran, people went to work. German officials spoke politely in newspapers and on radio, reassuring the Dutch that everything would stay the same. But little by little, that promise faded, until it completely disappeared. One of the first groups to suffer under the occupation were Jewish families. At first, the restrictions came slowly. Jewish people couldn't work certain jobs, they had to register with the government, they couldn't ride trams or visit parks. Jewish businesses were marked with signs. Then the deportations began. Whole neighborhoods were emptied, including places like the Vlooienburg and Waterlooplein, once the heart of Jewish Amsterdam. Families were taken from their homes, often in the middle of the night, and sent east on trains. Most never returned. Over 100,000 lives lost, entire communities erased. The Jews were not the only people deported during the occupation, though the purpose was very different. As the war went on, the Germans needed labor to keep their factories running. They began rounding up Dutch men, sometimes through forced registration, sometimes in sudden street raids, and sending them to work camps deep inside Germany. Just like Katja's father in my novel, many of these men were taken from their families with almost no warning. Those who survived returned home changed forever, but around 30,000 never came back at all, dying from disease, starvation, forced labor, or even Allied bombing raids on the factories where they worked. Even though the Germans tried to keep everyone silent, resistance slowly grew. Some people printed secret newspapers. Others helped Jewish families hide. Some smuggled ration coupons and forged ID cards, while others rescued downed Allied pilots. American or British airmen shot down while flying over the Netherlands toward Germany. Helping a pilot escape meant risking your entire family's life, but people did it anyway. Near the end of the war, things grew even worse. In the winter of 1944, the Germans cut off food and fuel to large parts of the Netherlands. People burned furniture just to stay warm. They dug up frozen fields looking for anything to eat. Some survived on tulip bulbs. By the time spring came, thousands had starved to death. But even during the hunger winter, the resistance didn't stop. They shared information in secret, protected families on the run, and held on until liberation finally arrived. So that was life under the occupation. Fear, loss, and hardship, but also incredible bravery. My novel ties into many of these real events, from the underground press and forged documents to families separated by forced labor and war. These pieces of history shaped the mystery that unfolds across both timelines in the book. If you'd like to explore the full story, Lost Paintings of Pieter van Dijk is available now in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Order your copy today and step into the world behind the history.